Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'll call this meeting to order. It is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. It's 10:30 a.m. and we're here to discuss Liaison weekly reports. From the last time, Commissioner Cowles came in with an idea of weekly reports by departments. And why don't you go ahead and kind of explain it?
So a synopsis, which is a little bit different. That's just a brief summary.
Mm-hmm.
And they would report on Mondays for the prior week. And I gave an example. Naturally, I use Public Works because that is my background. So it was easier for me to just use them as an example. But with Liaison, like we discussed in the previous meeting, there just seems to be communication isn't always there. So, and I've dropped the ball myself. I'll admit it. I've dropped the ball with the ambulance district and have not reported as I should have. So the whole board knows what's going on. And with most of the departments right here in the courthouse, it would be easier if we just had them do a weekly synopsis.
Okay, so what we're asking the departments to do is fill out a weekly, kind of give us a weekly report.
Brief summary
of what they've done this week,
mm-hmm.
or what they're going to do.
Right, and if you see
is
in
it what
here,
what they're going to do?
So it says plan work schedule on the second page. You know, so they can say, you know, like I said, Jessica's department's an easier department for me to explain that to. She might have, you know, her road crews maybe going and replacing culverts. That's on their next week's schedule. I'm not asking for a 10-page report, just a brief summary. And it's not only to keep the board on track, but also the public, because I get a lot of questions. And some of them are pretty easy,
mm-hmm.
and I can't answer them because I don't know. And then I wonder if I'm receiving those, then what's the call volume for those departments on those questions too? So would it bring that call volume down for those departments?
Okay. So what I'm looking at is we want them to tell us what they're gonna do this week or what they've already done.
Their previous week.
What they've done.
So yes.
What they've done.
Yes.
Okay.
What they've done.
Week.
Yep. Brief summary.
Okay. What they've
week.
done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the previous week.
Mm-hmm. And now I know that some of them, it's like I've said before in the other meeting, it's going to be repetitive. Solid waste, pretty repetitive. But they may make an extra trip to Missoula.
Okay.
You know, theirs will be pretty repetitive. And there are some departments where that's going to just be how it is.
Okay.
But at least everybody's in the loop. And
mm-hmm.
if somebody's absent, you know,
okay.
they can be briefed when they're back with those reports. They'll know what's going on. It's just a way to break that communication line and get all that information to the full board.
Okay.
And the public. And a synopsis does not take much time.
Okay.
To do. That's pretty cut and dry.
And then at the monthly department head meeting.
Right, they can just add up. You know what I mean? So like, let's say planning and zoning, and our building inspector, they gave out so many permits. Well, we know what their weeklies will look like, mm-hmm. you know, 1 permit or 5. And then at the end of the month, when they come in for their department head meeting, it's just an overall
okay.
of all of it.
Okay. I think I do agree. It's, I know with the airport, I got to get, have Randy come in. I think our monthly department head meetings needs to be more, we need to have the full, everybody there, including solid waste.
Mm-hmm. I just think that this helps everyone across the board. I mean, we are all human, mm-hmm. so we're going to forget things when we meet. And another thing that I did think about, mm-hmm. sometimes they need to just meet with one, and that's fine. They can just email the whole board, mm-hmm. and then we decide which one's available to meet with them.
Mm-hmm.
and then you just send out a report
Okay.
to the rest of the board. But there's a lot of times I am lost on information, you know, and I'm not going to give false information or incorrect information to the public if I don't know.
Okay.
And, you know, like I said, if that's the questions I get, I can only imagine what it's like for the departments and their call volume. So maybe in the future, it would bring some of that down for them as well.
Okay. Commissioner Dose, do you have any questions on that? Or
Well, I hate to be the stink in the mud, but I don't completely agree with this direction. I think we're adding more paperwork. My concern is if they're not reporting what's coming up, we're always just going to hear what they already did and then complain about it. We're never going to be able to interject on what they're about to do. Like, we need to know next week we're planning on doing this.
Which is in there.
That is in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Plan work schedule.
And then just management style. I don't understand why we would cut out the liaisons even if we are doing the report, because the report might fill a hole, but it's just my personal management style that I'm going to still want to make the rounds and talk to them and say what's going on and how are you doing and what's morale like and the things that don't show up in reports, and what, you know, what's coming up next. So if you guys want to add the report on, that's up to you. I'll support that, but I don't agree with the idea of just eliminating liaisons. And if we want to cut it out, then I don't want it to offend you. I'll still just make my rounds and ask, you know, the hands-on management.
Right, but they also need to be in the habit of reporting to all of us, you know, not just one. And when we're liaisons, we should be reporting to the whole board. And I will admit, I have slipped. I have not.
Oh, I'm sure
been that good.
We've all done that.
And so then you lose communication with the rest of the board. The rest of the board is out of the loop, and that's not good either. Because we're all individual elected officials, you know, and we speak for our districts, and we all need to be well informed. But so does the public. And I think that the synopsis is a good idea, and it won't take too much time because it's not a 10-page report. You know, it's really just a synopsis.
Okay, it's just what they've done
It's
that week
just
and what they're planning to do next week.
It's just a brief summary.
Okay.
But it does include what's coming up.
Yes, if you look in the back.
I just missed that.
Yeah, it says plan work schedule, you know, next 2 weeks, or you could do the next week. Yes.
I do like that. One of the things is I get a lot of questions on roads. We all get questions on roads, and that's one of our hardest things to actually answer is what are they doing and where are they at, and that's the questions that I get, and and I don't think anybody can answer it. I think this would be a step in the right direction on that part. And I know the airport, there's a lot of things that, you know, if we can keep.
Right, and with bringing up the airport, I did have a question from somebody.
Well,
I couldn't answer it, and I did send them.
And that's the other thing. It's just, yeah, I can.
And like I said, it's the same for me. I mean, we are only human, so.
So we want to just start doing go ahead and doing the reports?
Yes.
Okay.
I would think that would be good. And just show them it's just a brief summary. I mean, I did 42 reports a day. So reports to me are, and checked crews. So this is very small compared to an actual report.
Okay. Well, what are we all thinking? Should we do we're all in agreement that we can do reports. We can have them do reports. Now the liaison part of it, how do we want to look at look at the liaison part? Do you want to keep it as it is, or do you want to, let's talk about how, because a direct liaison with the reports, we'll be getting all the information.
Right, and that's why I put the liaison, because we're already going to get the information from the departments.
So you wanted to eliminate the liaison?
Well, just because you're already getting the weekly reports from them, from those departments. If you want to keep the liaison, that's fine by me. But with liaison, we just need to remember, as well as me, to give reports on what was discussed, because I've dropped the ball twice myself.
So if we give liaison reports,
Any pertinent information.
Yeah.
So the whole board, that
Yeah,
communication line's going. Yeah.
I understand that. So what else as a liaison? We're going around, you're checking morale, right?
I check morale. I check what's coming up, probably more so than what they've already done, because I'm concerned that we have a chance to speak in before they do something. That's just a personal management style. Whether we do liaisons or not, I can still do that. So, doesn't matter to me how you guys want to do that.
And like I said, if we decide not to do liaison and they need to meet with one, that's fine. They just email the board, and whichever one is available can meet with them. Because I know we have those times, where, solid waste, they needed somebody to go and look at what they were talking about.
Okay. Now the other thing with liaisons, but with the liaison part of it too is like you go to the ambulance meetings and stuff like that. So that's, and then with the roads department, you go to the transportation meetings.
I go to the transportation meetings.
Right.
And will that still be
Yeah. That would be fine by me.
So,
but these reports, I think.
Okay, so if we do these reports and the liaison now that's one of the things is kind of what a liaison kind of does, is like when you guys go to those meetings, you come back and you report to the board on what those meetings are. So that is kind of the liaison in a fashion.
But like I said, I have slipped myself and not reported back. So, and like also, if one's gone, these are great. But with the liaison, I mean, if one's absent and they're liaison, I mean, who would take my place at the ambulance district board meetings?
And I think we need further discussion on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think at this point we're all in agreement with the work schedule, and I think we need to discuss further how we want this liaison, or how this is going to work because of the meetings, and because we don't want to not have anybody.
Right.
But we need to discuss how we're going to work this together and how this is going to work out, and whether we're going to, are we going to appoint, like if somebody's out of town, if you're out of town, you need to appoint another commissioner to take that over, and that commissioner's to go.
Yeah. For the liaison.
Okay.
I just don't want us to lose that communication line.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that might be the biggest hole in the liaison thing, is making sure somebody covers if there's a meeting that you can't make.
Right. And these, it's not them coming every Monday and, doing a presentation of this. This is them emailing these to us.
Okay.
And then we can make them, and the public can see them.
Okay.
But
So-
that way we all know.
So are we leaning on more kind of keeping the word liaison in the fashion that you guys go to the meetings, or how do we want to?
Right,
How do we wanna
because
do
you, because you also have had meetings
Yeah,
with,
yeah,
with
because
the
I got,
airport, yes,
Yeah, so
so
I
that
still
would
have-
be, probably would wanna keep the liaison.
okay,
And the only reason I put that was because, okay, well, they're making reports,
Yeah.
these synopsis every week, so
yeah,
do we not keep that? But that would be fine by me,
Okay.
because,
but we need to make sure that we do appoint each other if we're out, that,
right, yes, we definitely need to talk
Okay.
about that
okay,
in another meeting. Maybe we'll have a meeting on liaison discussion so that we can
maybe a
discuss
weekly
that.
meeting,
I mean,
a
what?
weekly liaison meeting,
Well,
or,
or just have a
A
meeting, or just have a meeting to discuss just liaison, to see if we want to do
okay,
a point, or if somebody's
and
gone.
how we're gonna
Yeah.
deal with it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm game for that we can all kind of think about
Yeah.
how we wanna structure the liaison and
Yeah,
whether we wanna meet once a month cause you have a monthly meeting.
right,
I think you have a monthly meeting with the transportation, and then with the airport, it just all depends.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go forward, and I think the worksheet for
Yeah.
everybody to fill out, department
Mhm.
worksheets, I think
and I
that's a
do
start.
I have next 2 weeks
Okay.
on my synopsis,
Okay.
and they may or may not know, 2 weeks ahead of time, but they can at least put what they do know that their work schedule is
Okay.
for that following.
Okay. Any public comment?
Yeah, the liaison's pretty, I can show you in the past where the liaison is not a good deal because you give directions, some of people have in the past, given directions to departments when it's really not their decision to give that direction. I'll give you one example of the logs being moved to Joe Avery's place.
Mm-hmm.
That was the liaison that made that decision and doesn't have the authority to do
Oh, I see what
that.
you're saying.
That is the dangerous part of having a liaison. It's one thing to listen, it's another thing to give direction that they don't have the authority to do.
Okay.
So,
All right. So we'll discuss how we're gonna, later on, let's discuss how we wanna keep the liaison and how we wanna report
Mm-hmm.
and how that's gonna work, and then give monthly reports or whatever else.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not giving monthly reports on the airport.
And I've
It's always-
dropped the ball.
Well, we all have,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there are some examples where I felt a pertinent issue came up, and I've sent you guys an
Mhm.
email, and it wasn't monthly. It's just when the issue comes up.
Yep.
That
Yeah, we have
I
emergencies.
just needed to be more consistent with that, but
Okay.
and the decision thing. I mean, that's the same with being chairman or being a liaison. If we can all send each other an email saying, "Here's what I learned,"
Mhm.
we need to make a decision.
Yeah,
I
and
think
bring it into a meeting.
Yeah.
that's a fair way to do it.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get this. I think we're all in agreement with this, and then we can kind of work on the
Mhm.
liaison and maybe kind of spell out
Mm-hmm.
how that's going to work,
I think that's a good idea.
and with the meetings and so forth, and what we expect. And so I'd entertain a motion on the worksheets for the department heads.
Okay. I make a motion we approve a weekly synopsis with the department heads.
I'll go ahead.
Did you want to say?
Yeah, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Okay, on that, would you look to the departments
Mm-hmm.
and since you've already
Yep.
filled this out,
Right.
and see what, or do you want to too, as well as Commissioner Dose? See how we want to, what information we want and how we want it.
Yeah.
I'll get
that's
with
just some
Randy to
examples.
see what, I guess we can I guess it'd be nice to know how much fuel we're selling during the week,
Mm-hmm.
how many airplanes have come in that week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it should be fairly easy for them, you know, because they know what they did the week.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And
it
then
should
we'll
be
schedule
fairly
something
easy.
else.
I think the big burden will be Public Works or somebody where she has to assemble
She does get
multiple
daily.
shops.
She does get daily on her time cards, so that will help her, you know, with what's going on with the shops.
All right, if there's nothing further, meeting adjourned.